Well, film of the week for me, Hard Candy, which is this film set in LA but directed by British filmmaker David Slade. It's an anti-slasher satire that basically inverts the male violence against women tradition of slasher cinema. Story, put very simply, is that at the beginning of the film, a young girl, she's 14 in the film, she's played by Ellen Page, who, if you've seen the new X-Men movie, which I'm not a big fan of, she's in that, and she's a really, really terrific actress. Look out for, I think she's 19 in real life, is met over the internet by a middle-aged photographer. He takes her back to his flat and playing Lolita to his Humbert, and you think this is going to be yucky and slimy and everything. It's going that area that's really, really unpleasant. Next thing he knows, he has a drink. The drink is spiked. He wakes up. He's tied to the chair, and she is there to avenge for all the sins that he has committed in his life. Listen to a clip.
There's really no point in me taking any risks, Jeff. Technically, I could let you scream your brains out, and no one is going to hear you. Yeah, I waited till today, because Mr. Coughlin is at work, and the Carrascos, well, they're vacationing in Santa Barbara. Still, I can't have some pedestrian just happening by as you're screaming, so shut up! Or next time, it's going to be bleach, okay?
You've been stalking me?
Okay. All right, let's get this straight. You have been stalking me.
Now, the last time that I can remember a British filmmaker doing a kind of, inversion of those slasher traditions was there's a film called Boy Meets Girl by Ray Brady, which the censors disliked so much that they banned it on video for about 7 years. This hasn't had any trouble at all. And in fact, despite the fact that it is a very tough, very nasty, very edgy film, particularly if you're a man to watch, it's actually visually very discreet. There's been a lot of adverts for it on the television, which seem to be kind of aiming it towards a popular audience. I mean, it's not a mainstream film. It is, however, really intelligent, really smart, really well written. It has leg-crossing moments in it that had me absolutely ducking and cowering, in the same way as Takashi Miike's Audition, which I really, really loved. It's a great Japanese film which treads a very, very thin line between horror and comedy. The thing that Hard Candy does is it has, at its heart, a very serious message. I mean, it is a film about the nonsense that people believe about the sexualization of teenagers. It is also very satirically written and very funny. The dialogue is very acerbic. There's lots of great stuff that Ellen Page delivers, and very good script by Brian Nelson. It's very stylishly shot by David Slade. He used to direct pop videos and comes from advertising. But the best thing about it is it's really grueling and unexpected, and you never quite know where it's going to go. There is an extended torture sequence in the middle of it, which I have to say is real duck and cover stuff. And apparently when they played it at a couple of film festivals in America, some young men in the audience were so outraged that they got up, started shouting, started walking out, really, really didn't like this at all. On the other hand, the female members of the audience found out for once what it's like to have the boot on the other foot. I mean, if you're interested in slasher cinema, if you're interested in horror cinema, if you're interested in seeing a very, very fine young actress, Ellen Page, she's going to be a rising star. Believe me, in a couple of years' time, she's going to be very big. David Slade is a director to watch. It's a terrific piece of work. It's not for everybody. And like I said, there is stuff in it that is really wince-inducing, but it's much more discreet than some of the publicity has perhaps suggested. There's a lovely poster for it, which is an image of Little Red Riding Hood standing amidst a huge open man trap. It's very funny, it's very smart, it's very sharp, it's very clever, and I really, really enjoyed it.
So funny yet grueling.
But funny and grueling is often the same, and I would refer you again to Miike Takashi's Audition. I mean, when I was hiding behind the seat when that film was playing out at the Edinburgh Film Festival, you don't know whether to laugh or scream. And the thing with Hard Candy is you don't know whether to laugh, scream, or cry for most of it. It almost looks like it's going to fall apart in the last reel, and then fabulously it doesn't. But the reason it works is because Ellen Page manages to balance the character so well that you don't think she's just a cipher or a caricature. You do actually believe in her character, despite the fact that the situation becomes increasingly insane.
Well, this email from Niels says, never have I witnessed as much squirming in an audience as at the screening of Hard Candy.
Excellent.
While the performances are great, the horror horrifying, and the gender role reversal interesting, its ending is silly and this dampens its social relevance. Also, what does the good doctor think about the MTV-style sequences in the film? Can he please explain their benefit? Their only purpose, to me, seemed to give the audience a headache and break the building tension. And on the other hand, Thank You for Smoking was not terribly funny or clever. But anyway, on the hard candy point.
Well, on the hard candy point, I think the end is better than some people think it is. I know a lot of people think that at the end it kind of slightly falls apart. I don't think it does. On the issue of the MTV visuals, David Slade comes from pop video direction and also from advertising. But one of the things that impressed me about the movie is I didn't think that the visuals were in any way gratuitous. There's a lovely colour palette to it in which the colour scheme of each scene clearly defines the emotional temperature of the scene. The way in which he uses pastel, I mean, without wishing to sound, technical, the mise-en-scene, the way in which he uses blues and pastel shades in certain times, then going to blood reds at other times, is actually very well done, to some extent reminiscent of the great horror directors like Dario Argento. It's interesting that having made this, Slade was apparently asked by Wes Craven whether he would like to think about helming a remake of Last House on the Left, which is really one of the nastiest films ever made. I think it's an interesting piece of work, and I think it should have been released uncut by the BBFC. It's still cut here in this country after 30 years. Slade turned it down because he wanted to go off and do a vampire movie, and he's now making an Alaskan vampire movie called 30 Days of Night. But I didn't think there was anything in his direction that was superfluous or was showy or was flashy for no reason at all. I thought it all served the drama. And the best thing about it is that even in the middle of those squirm-inducing torture scenes, and you really need to see it with an audience because, part of the fun is just seeing whether everyone else is having as tough a time as you are. And there is a gender divide in that. There is absolutely a divide between the way in which men react to the film and the way in which women react to the film, according to the director also, between the way in which Americans react to it and the way in which English audiences react to it. In America, the film has been kind of overlooked. I hope that it does better here because I thought it really was an interesting piece of work. Not without flaws, but one of those things that its faults are kind of part of what I like about it. It's ragged at the edges. It's a tough watch. Some people won't make it all the way through. I know that when it played at the Sitges Film Festival, for example, which is a horror film festival, some people just simply walked out. Now, getting people to walk out at Sitges is really something.